Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here with another one of these Bargain Bead Box makes. And we're not going to use any of the beads in this one, you guys. I know it's crazy, but we're not doing any beading today. What I'm going to do is, for this particular box, this was the July box. I got these like little stainless steel tissue, crumpled up tissue looking things, and I hate them. I hate them so much. So what I thought I would do is transform them into something I like, and also, maybe do somewhat of a tutorial with you guys. So hopefully you guys like this. I kind of have been debating doing like a series on how to patina and make things grungy and gross. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely let me know. Otherwise it'll just sit on the back burner until I decide to do it one day, but I will move it forward if that's something you guys are interested in. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn these weird little charms into like ocean salvage. Basically, I want to make these look like something that was found at the bottom of the ocean. And to do that, I started out by coating them all in this grit paste. It's a Tim Holtz product. Any texture paste, honestly, will work. The grittier, the better. If yours is fairly smooth and just sort of like, like a, I want to say like a baking soda, baking powder texture, you can always add like sand into it to get it to be even grungier and grittier. And in fact, you could even do that with grit paste. I found grit paste to be surprisingly smoother than I originally anticipated for something called grit paste, but it works out. We managed to make it work. And then after I let them dry, I'm just going to come through and paint them up. So what I have here is like a teal color and then a very lime green color, and I'm going to mix the lime green into the teal and then add a little bit of white gesso just to sort of desaturate it a little bit, so that I will have this like these oceany colors. So I will have this very sea foam green color and sea foam blue. I don't know what seafoam blue looks like, honestly. We're going to use green and teal to add some color to this. I'm going to paint every single piece green, and then I'm going to come back in with the teal color and sort of splotch it in various places and add some water to get it to move around a bit and not just sort of settle all in one place. You guys are going to see. I'm a little bit ahead of myself. I just don't want to end up talking so much that I miss telling you guys what I'm doing in this tutorial, because it is mostly a tutorial. But yeah, I want to make these look grungy and gross, and also I'm not worried about heating up the paint in this process, because the paint tends to bubble if you heat it up too quickly, and that's what I want. I want it to I want it to bubble, words are really hard, so that it gets even more texture than just the grit paste texture. And so here's this weird thing I used, like, for the green paint, it's old paint, and I thought I shook it pretty well, but as I was heating it up, like, the binder started to separate from the pigment, and I've never seen that happen before. So some parts of this piece are a little bit glossy and a little bit differently textured. That's okay for what we're doing here, but if you are also using old paint, you might want to not, because it might not be the effect you're going for something else. But for this, I wanted it to be grungy and weird and differently textured, so it works out fine. But I've literally never seen that happen before, so I was really flabbergasted when I was doing this, but I decided to just roll with it. So here you can see I am adding in the blue color, and then adding in some water to spread it around, and then tamping off the excess a little bit on a paper towel, only because I don't want there to be giant pools of paint. That doesn't serve anything, and these are very tiny charms, so they take a little bit of tamping off to get the excess off. If it's a larger piece, you probably don't need to like tamp it off to get the extra paint off, because you won't have pools of extra paint, hopefully. But this is just to sort of vary up the coloration and the texture of it. It's also going to add a patina effect. You guys will see that at the end as we go through it. It'll add to the patina effect and sort of draw that forward. So this is more of just a like regular copper patina effect, I would say. I didn't do anything super crazy. I could have got even grungerier, but I wanted it to all sort of be very cohesive because I want it to look like it came from under the sea, and I think we achieved that. So I'm really, really happy with how these came out. Also, if you are doing steel charms like I am, just be mindful of the fact that metal is hot, and when you heat it up, it stays hot. So that's why I'm using my tweezers here. First of all, because I don't want to put my fingers in front of my heat tool, but also because that metal is going to stay hot for like a little bit longer than you might anticipate after the fact, even after you paint it up. So now I'm going to come back through with a copper paint, and I'm going to dry brush this on here. So I'm going to do that by getting some paint on the brush, mostly wiping it off. More so pressing it into the bristles than actually wiping it off. I'm not trying to like remove the paint from the brush. And then I'm going to come back through and very lightly go over these, and in some spots a little bit heavier handedly, because I do want some variation in the coloration, and just dry brush over all the details. So all those like bumps and the extra like paint bubbles and all sorts of things like that that we picked up, we're going to dry brush over and bring those to the forefront again, and it gets the effect of looking like the original metal surface that the patina is sort of taking over. You can do this in the reverse order. So if you wanted to paint everything the metallic color first and then go back and add in the green and washes of like green and blue to get the patina effect, you can do that. But I find this to be the most effective way. I think if you do it in the reverse order, it pushes the copper color too far to the background, so that you can't really tell that it was supposed to be originally copper, because it just looks like it was originally meant to be patina and there's just some sparks of copper. So I find that this way works the best to bring the copper to the forefront and also make it look like that's what the color of the original metal was before everything started to, you know, corrode and age and patina over time. And I really love how these came out. I think they're really fun, you guys. I'm really excited to use them when I eventually get around to doing a sea-themed siren-type journal. It is in my list of things to do. It's not going to happen anytime soon. There's so much stuff happening in the fall. But I'm now just going back through and dipping them into a black wash. So black wash is essentially just either a ink or an acrylic paint that's been extremely watered down. So essentially, it's no longer the consistency of paint. It is the consistency of water. And it's just going to add a little bit of depth to the pieces. So by going through and adding in the black wash and then tamping off the excess, it's going to bring up all those raised surfaces to the forefront a little bit more so you can see them better. It's going to make everything sort of pop. It's not a necessary step, but I do like it for adding the depth that it adds to the piece overall. And then that's it, you guys. That's the entire tutorial. I know it was a really quick one. I sort of have done something similar to this in the past, so I didn't want to dwell on this too much. But yeah, I love how these came out. I cannot wait to use them. I'm going to do the holes in them because I covered them up when I was putting in the grit paste, but I'm not really that worried about it. I'll fix the holes and then it'll be great. I'll be able to use them. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and that's gonna be it for me, guys. I appreciate your faces. Happy crafting. Until next time, bye.